Hey, nerdy sports fan. We're talking week 10 NFL action, and we got the Ravens going to see the Cincinnati Bengals. The Ravens are coming off of my favorite game of the season. Somebody finally punched New England in the mouth, and they had no response for it. Fantastic game. Um, the Bengals, yeah, they're winless. Okay, they're back to being the same old Cincinnati Bengals. Zach Brown, whatever his name is, the new coach there. Not really working out so far for him, is it? They don't have a good defensive staff at all in Cincinnati. They finally benched Andy Dalton, something that should have probably come a few years ago. And AJ Green's not necessarily coming back healthy like everybody thought he was going to. So, not a lot of good going on in Cincinnati right now. Fantasy football wise, Joe Mixon's a risk flex play. And just everybody thought Ross, Boyd were going to be great. And no, just when you get to the backup quarterback, if you have other options, you really should use those other options. These guys, the offense isn't as good as it was supposed to be, and you don't know what the backup quarterback's going to bring to the table. You just don't. So I think it's a lost season. I'm sorry, Bengals fans. You weren't trying to tank hard like Miami was, but right now you're lined up for the number one overall pick. So even though you benched Andy Dalton, look on the bright side. You're finally going to get his replacement. So, franchises going in opposite directions. The Ravens are very much in win now mode, okay? And it's only the second year of their quarterback's career, and he already looks like an MVP candidate. So, fantastic. You know how I thought Lamar Jackson had the potential to be the best quarterback in that draft class. I did not understand why he was being overlooked. He was a Heisman Trophy candidate and winner multiple times. When you're on the Heisman list as a sophomore, that's big for a quarterback. And he did everything for Louisville. He did everything. He was the reason they were a competitive team. I don't know why, just him tailing off a little bit in his senior year when other players that he was depending on got drafted and they're gone or they graduate or whatever. The team changed around him. He didn't change, okay? He was still fantastic and the best player on the field all the time. So I don't get why people overlooked Lamar Jackson. There's no way Josh Rosen or Sam Darnold or Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield, none of these guys had better college resumes. It's just a matter of what general managers and coaches think the player is going to translate to in the NFL. And for whatever reason, quarterbacks that have legs and really use them well, still getting overlooked, it boggles the mind. I mean, how does Lamar Jackson go at the end of the first round and then the very next year Kyler Murray goes number one? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. So some teams get it. Some teams don't. The league is changing. And Lamar Jackson is proof of that. GMs want quarterbacks that'll last 10 years. That's why they want a quarterback that plays from the pocket. Well, get somebody who's a little more dynamic, your offense is going to be so much better. You'll have a better chance at winning games in general, and maybe you'll only have them for 7 years. But those 7 years are likely to be better than the peak years of your 10-year guy. I mean, just look at the career arcs of, say, Flacco versus what's gone on with, say, Cam Newton. Cam Newton's peak as a personal player so much higher than Flacco's. Okay? Yes, Flacco won a Super Bowl. He also did it with a way better defense than Cam Newton ever had. So, calm down. Okay? Cam Newton's peak year, better than the best 2 years of Joe Flacco's career combined. And, just a shorter career because he can use his legs. That's it. Okay? So, that's what we're going to get out of Lamar Jackson. He's going to get banged around more. He's going to use his body more, and it's going to get hurt more because of it. But you take the bad with the good. And the good is this guy looks fan-freaking-tastic and has a potential to win a Super Bowl this year. I'm talking a lot about Lamar Jackson because this game is useless. Everybody knows that the Ravens are going to come into town and just bludgeon what's left of the Bengals to death. I mean, I thought they had homeless people playing linebacker before, but now, they're going to have to go right back to that soup kitchen line and pick up some more because they're going to be beaten bloody with this one, all right? Mark Ingram and Lamar Jackson are going to have their way with this defense. The only worry is that the Ravens don't take this game seriously because, well, who would? It doesn't make sense to me. These guys, human nature is to not come correct against somebody you know you're better than, okay? So, they might have a struggle early on and then have to realize, hey, it's actually a football game and we should play. But the second half, I think they'll return to dominance and just roll over the Bengals. So, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know. Don't start receivers for the Ravens. Don't. Okay? I love Hollywood Brown and Willie Snead and what these guys can do in the offense, but they're not going to need them. All right? The Bengals' defense is so terrible against the run. Mark Ingram and Lamar Jackson are the only people really worth starting fantasy football-wise in the offense and depending on for a huge number of points. Do you put Hollywood Brown out of your lineup entirely? No. Is he a wide receiver 1? No. No, he's a wide receiver 3. Willie Snead needs to be on the bench. Everybody, tight end-wise, is what the offense focuses on anyway. So they got 3 tight ends that they use. So Andrews is the number 1 guy and the most consistent target. So obviously he's the guy you put in there. But don't be afraid if, don't be weirded out if he loses some touchdowns to the other tight ends. This offense is made to maximize Lamar Jackson's gifts. So his passing targets are going to be closer to the offensive line, except for Snead and Brown, who are taking the top off the defense, the speed demons. So, there's no real middle of the field action. All right? So, Ingram's going to dominate. Ingram's going to have a 20, 25-point game. Lamar Jackson's going to dominate. 30-plus. Andrews is going to be a solid, 10 to 12-point tight end this week. Wide receivers are a coin flip, okay? One of them might catch a deep touchdown. Both of them might catch deep touchdowns. But they're not going to be target monsters, okay? So PPR leagues, they're really, really devalued. Standard scoring, they're risk plays. Nobody for the Bengals is worth a damn thing in this game. Start the Ravens defense, they're going to score 15, 20 points for you. As far as the line, the Ravens are only 10-point favorites. They're going to beat that line, okay? 14-plus points easy against the Bengals. I would bet the Ravens with confidence. So hit up the rest of my videos to see, about videos, games that actually matter this week. And hit up the Nerdy Sports Fan Weekly for our weekly power rankings.